From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is Wake Up Weather.
Good Friday morning to you. I'm Kelly Rawson here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. We are live at 6 a.m. The weekend is almost here, but I, for one, am actually not looking forward to it because we are going to be experiencing another blast of Arctic air for us here in the Tennessee Valley. I do have some fantastic news in terms of our temperatures heading into next week, but unfortunately we cannot get there at least until another bout of some wintry conditions here in the Tennessee Valley. So I will have everything you need to know in terms of the weekend forecast, including the potential for some snow flurries and some light snow today, tonight, as well as the first half of tomorrow, as well as those warmer temperatures heading into next week. But if you don't mind, if you are tuning in on this Friday morning, can you do me a favor and take a peek out your window, because some radars are showing some very light snow flurries moving through. I'll show you here on our live Viper Doppler radar brought to you by Fuller Services of North Alabama. I personally am not seeing anything outside of our windows here at the Tennessee Valley Weather Studios here in Lawrenceburg. But if you peek out your window and you see any light snow flurries, please drop a comment below with your location and what you're seeing. Otherwise, I'm not too convinced that any of this is reaching the ground, but please let me know so we can get some ground truth to what is happening. We do have the chance for these flurries to persist kind of throughout the rest of today, so it's not too far-fetched that this would be happening, but I'm just not too convinced. I'm personally not seeing those flurries here outside of our windows. But let me know in the comments if you are seeing any sort of light flurry activity early on this Friday morning. Temperatures are well below freezing. We are in the upper 20s to lower 30s for southern middle Tennessee, and some lower 20s down into North Alabama, 20 in Moulton as well as Russellville. Otherwise, you guys are in the upper 20s to lower 30s as well down in North Alabama. So yes, a cold start to the morning, but this is nothing compared to the next few mornings we will be waking up to as more Arctic air settles into the Tennessee Valley heading into this weekend. More on that here in just a moment, but let's go ahead and take a peek on our Arctic Air Heating and Air Conditioning Skycam network. Again, we're seeing those low-level clouds, and we will continue to see that cloud cover for the rest of today and for much of Saturday as well. Temperatures right around the 30-degree mark, winds out of the south blowing about 6 miles an hour. A light wind for now. Later on this afternoon, that will be a much different story. Clouds are now starting to filter into North Alabama. You see those here on our Florence Skycam overlooking parts of Lauderdale and Colbert counties this morning. Temperatures just shy of 30 degrees, a wind out of the east-northeast blowing about 7 miles an hour at this time. So let's go ahead and talk about what we can expect for the rest of today, into the overnight, and into at least the first part of Saturday in terms of any sort of wintry precip, in the terms of some light flurries out there. Again, for the rest of this morning, can't completely rule out a few very spotty light flurries, but that is all that they will be. Temperatures getting up briefly to our high temperatures early this afternoon in the mid to upper 30s, and then we'd come crashing down. Winds will be out of the north very strong for the rest of today into much of the weekend, gusting up to 25 to 30 miles an hour, creating some pretty dangerous wind chill values we'll talk about here in just a moment. But in terms of any precip, again, maybe some light flurries just kind of periodically on and off throughout the day. For today, temperatures should be below freezing for the rest of the day after, again, we briefly hit those high temperatures early on in the afternoon. And then for the rest of the evening, again, winds still blowing out of the north, clouds still around. This is where we could see a few light snow showers move through. In terms of accumulation, we'll talk about that here in just a moment, but I do want to say right off the bat, not everybody going to see some snowflakes today, but the potential for some spotty, again, flurries to light snow showers can't be ruled out for the rest of this morning, afternoon, into the overnight. For your Saturday morning, a few flurries may still be around, but that is when the Arctic air really starts to settle in. So let's go ahead and get through today, tonight, and the first part of tomorrow in terms of any sort of flurry activity, light snow showers, as well as any potential accumulation. Again, not everybody going to see snowflakes today, but the potential for some spotty locations in the Tennessee Valley to see those light flurries to light snow showers into the overnight. So in terms of any accumulation, now we will be below freezing, so we do expect whatever to fall to stick, but I don't really think it is going to be much. We're talking about a spotty, uneven dusting. Again, like I said, not everybody going to see the snowfall, maybe a half an inch at highest, But again, not looking likely, that looking to be a very isolated band that potentially sets up for a little bit longer duration overnight. But again, not looking like a widespread issue by any means. Now, could this snowfall, this light snowfall, create some new slick spots on the roads? It's certainly possible, but I don't expect widespread travel issues by any means. This is something we would caution you to not travel if you don't have to, but I do think travel can still happen, especially if you are able to already, if your roads are not still icy from last weekend. So of course, be very careful as always as you're planning any sort of trips on the roads. But in terms of any new travel hazards, I'm thinking maybe just a few isolated slick spots out on the roads throughout the rest of the weekend. And speaking of the rest of the weekend, again, should be dry for the rest of your Saturday. Winds will be strong out of the north, creating some pretty dangerous wind chill values for the weekend. For your Sunday, looking mainly dry, maybe a stray flurry Sunday night. Otherwise, again, mainly dry, it's just some increasing cloud cover. And then the good news heading into Monday and into next week, we are going to be warmer in terms of temperatures. In fact, when we're talking precip next week, we will be talking rain and not talking snow. So that is just a little preview of what's to come. But again, for the next few days, bitter, cold Arctic air once again settling into the Tennessee Valley. So wind chills for today, especially the second half of the afternoon, likely in the teens with gusts 25 to 30 miles an hour lasting through the weekend with negative wind chill values Saturday, especially Saturday morning, even into Sunday morning as well. So again, bitter cold will be here, with air temperatures really not much warmer, but those wind chills will definitely be adding a extra chill in the air. So again, for today, we will briefly hit those high temperatures early on this afternoon, and then we will start to fall with temperatures getting close to and just below freezing for the second half of the afternoon with some light flurries to light snow showers. Again, spotty in nature, not everybody going to see those today and tonight, but the potential certainly is there, again, with the potential for a dusting to up to half an inch in very isolated locations. Again, that's not a widespread thing by any means, just a few spotty locations within our entire 16 county viewing area may see just some light accumulation. So again, keep that in mind, but don't think that it's going to happen every single location here in the Tennessee Valley, but something, of course, we just need to communicate with you because that is in the forecast for today, tonight, for the first half of Saturday. I think the second half of Saturday is looking mostly dry though, and the main story really going to be shifting to the cold. Low temperatures tonight, a whopping 9 degrees, and wind chill values will be in the negatives, especially Saturday morning. Throughout Saturday, wind chills will stay in the single digits to the teens, with air temperatures only reaching the lower 20s. So again, maybe a few new slick spots on the roads, but that's pretty much all that we're expecting out of these light flurries. Again, really just not much precipitation to work with by any means, not much moisture with this system. But what is just, again, going to be more significant is certainly the cold temperatures, but they will be short-lived. Check it out. We reach freezing Sunday afternoon, 32 degrees, and then we are in the mid 40s by Monday. Upper 40s, close to 50 degrees by Tuesday. That may be feeling more like 75 degrees. Some of you folks may break out the shorts by Tuesday afternoon. That is paired with our next rain chance, but hey, we are talking rain next week as opposed to wintry precipitation. So it'll be a nice change of pace heading into next week, but of course, got to get through this nice little blast of Arctic air for this weekend. So again, be sure to bundle up this weekend. Make sure your faucets are dripping, especially during the overnights for the weekend, but at least we will not have to do that for a long duration like we had to over the last few days. Warmer temperatures in our near future. Let's look at your local weather forecast on this Friday morning. I hope you have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend. Stay warm and stay safe out there.
You're watching the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel.